and welcome to the Tableau session for sorting, grouping and filtering. We are in the chapter 6. In this lesson we are going to cover sort order, sort by, manual sort, various custom grouping, ungrouping and various types of filtering. Let's jump into the data. I am using here Global Superstore. I am putting that into my Tableau desktop and I am taking order. And I'm in. Okay, so let's do a very quick visualization. Let's take sales and let's take subcategory. So if we just present subcategory wise sales like this, it won't make much sense unless we sort the data. Then it becomes easily readable for anybody and everybody to understand. Okay, so there are certain things like Tableau allows. Something is that quick sort. If I click here, it automatically sorts. If I again click here, it sorts ascending, and if I again click here, it clears out the sort. So what are we actually sorting? We are actually sorting a dimension, which is a subcategory, and we are sorting by a measure, which is sales. Now Tableau gives you a strong feature. uh, let's explore what is there. You can do ascending and descending. Data source order is something, it's typically alphabetic for most of the cases. In certain cases it is the internal row ID for Oracle and all, and most of the time what we use is the this thing, fields. Now here I don't have profit in my visualization, but still I can drag profit and I can sort by profit, and let's take profit into color. So we can clearly see that in tables we actually made loss, and in other case we made profit. Okay, so we can even do some kind of manual sorting if you still want to do. Let's say I'm taking this here or whatever, so it's of my choice. So we have done sorting based on profit, then I am rearranging my data based on my manual sorting. Okay, and if you find that you have completely messed up the visualization, you can just go ahead and you can clear sort also. There's an option called clear sort. You can do just clear sort, so it returns to the original position of your visualization. Now come to the custom group. Let's duplicate this data set. Okay, and why we at all require custom group? Let's sort it. So we can see that in labels, furnitures and envelope we couldn't do much profit, so let's group them together. There's an icon here like a paper clip for grouping, and we call it, let's say, uh, other products. Okay, so we are grouping it like this so that it reports as a whole with those three products. Now if any time you find that the grouping is not working, you can just go ahead and ungroup it so that it returns to the original position. So that's all about sorting and sort by, manual sort and custom group and ungroup. Now let's come to the filters. So in Tableau, there are total 6 types of filters that you can apply, namely extract, data source, context, dimension, measure, and table calculation. So Tableau applies filters on a sequence. First, it applies the extract filter. So as I have explained you earlier that I can connect the data set by extract or by live. So let's see how it works. Now while let's instead of doing live, let's take an extract and let's edit it and add a filter. Now I'm adding a filter here, and for some reason I don't like phones to come up, so I am excluding phones from my filter and I am extracting it. Okay, so data is already extracted, and so in this data set you must have noticed, you will notice that there won't be any phone data anyway. So we have already extracted the data and excluding the phone. Okay, and so there is no phone. You can see that there is no phone. Okay, so similarly here, so this is called the data source filter. So this is, sorry, this is called the extract filter. It applies at the top, at the first. Now comes the data source filter. Now for some reason you decide, okay, you made an extract but certain data you don't require at all, then you can apply a data source filter. So how we'll do that, I will explain. You go to data source and you do an add filter and you apply for some filter. Okay, you select, let's say you don't want to show Afghanistan for some reason, and you extracted the data, so you applied that filter. Now if we see the country, there is no Afghanistan, so you have filtered the data at the data source. Okay, now let's come something called context filter. So context filter is actually applicable for, let's take all the sales. Context filter is applicable for only when you have LODs, which is called level of details. Okay, so it does not normally come into various calculations, but on a nutshell, what is context filter is that if you apply, if you go there and say apply to context, then what will happen is that Tableau will restrict its all calculation within that context, and it creates a temporary file in the background also. So be careful while you create a lot of context file. But if you create context file, certainly you will increase, you will, you will better the performance, that's for sure. Okay, let's not create any context filter right now. And then we have three very important filters, which is like dimension filter, measure filter, and table calculation filter. I will explain it all these three together. So what is dimension filter is that whenever you do a normal filtering like this, you are actually filtering your dimensions. Let's say uh, you don't want to show, you only report, Africa's sales or something, then this is dimension filters. Okay, now in Africa also, for some reason, if you only want to report uh, certain sales which is higher than some threshold, this is called a measure filter. So I am dragging the sales into the filter shelf, and you can see that sum, average, medium, count, lot of things are coming up. Okay, so if you click this sum and then range of value or at least, so I'm taking at least. If the sales is, let's say, 1000, then I will report. So I have applied a measure filter over here. Okay, now let me show up over there, so you can see that it starts from 1000 and then it goes to the maximum. And for some reason, let's take profit also here, profit sum, and let's do a running total. Now if I want to say that at least my total profit, if it is less than 9000, then only I will show. So I have applied uh, uh, so in this case I have applied a dimension filter, which is region equal to Africa. I have applied a measure filter, which is sum of sales, total sales at least have to be 1000, and then I have applied a table calculation filter, which is my profit also, running sum of total profit has to be 9000. And in the beginning we have explained the extract filter and the data source filter and then context filter. So all this in Tableau applies on a sequence, and you always need to understand the sequence and the applicability of each of the filter. I hope I was able to clear myself, but filters, sometimes a lot of Tableau gurus are also getting confused. So if you have any doubts or anything, you please get back to me. I will explain you even more detail. Thank you.